Tesla just bet $2 billion against its own shareholders, and it might be the smartest move they've ever made.
Wait, they invested in xAI despite shareholder opposition? That's insane. So we're breaking down why they defied shareholders, what Grok brings to Tesla, and how this reshakes the EV market?
By minute 4, you'll understand why this bet could triple Tesla's valuation. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the AI Daily Podcast. Today's news and a deep dive to help you stay ahead in AI.
Today, we're diving into Tesla to invest $2 billion in Elon Musk's xAI.
Stick around to the end for this week's headlines. Let's dive right in.
Let's dig into the technical and strategic implications here. First, we need to understand what xAI actually brings to the table. Grok, their flagship product, is built on a 314 billion parameter model. That's larger than GPT-3, but smaller than GPT-4. What's unique about Grok is its real-time access to X's data firehose, which gives it current information that other LLMs lack.
But how does that translate to value for Tesla? I mean, real-time social media data is great for a chatbot, but how does it help with autonomous driving?
Here's where it gets interesting. Tesla's full self-driving system currently relies on a massive neural network trained on billions of miles of driving data. But one of the biggest challenges in autonomous driving is handling edge cases, unusual situations that weren't well represented in the training data. Natural language models, like Grok, could potentially help by providing contextual understanding and reasoning capabilities.
Oh, I see. So instead of just pattern matching based on visual data, the car could actually reason about situations.
Exactly. Let me give you a concrete example. Say there's construction ahead, with a worker holding a sign that says, "Follow pilot car." Current computer vision systems might recognize the sign and the worker, but understanding that instruction requires semantic reasoning. That's where LLM capabilities could complement Tesla's existing stack.
That makes sense. But couldn't Tesla just license this technology from OpenAI or Anthropic? Why do they need to invest billions in xAI?
Great question. And this brings us to the competitive dynamics. Tesla has always been vertically integrated. They make their own batteries, their own chips, their own software. Musk has been very vocal about not wanting to depend on other companies for critical technology. Plus, there's the bad blood between Musk and OpenAI. He co-founded OpenAI in 2015, left in 2018, and has been increasingly critical of their commercial direction.
Right, he's actually suing them for abandoning their nonprofit mission.
Exactly. So from Musk's perspective, xAI represents his chance to build the AI company he originally envisioned with OpenAI. But here's where the numbers get interesting. OpenAI is reportedly on track to generate $3.7 billion in revenue this year. Anthropic is approaching $1 billion. These companies are finding real commercial traction. xAI's Grok, by comparison, is still largely limited to X premium subscribers.
So Tesla would essentially be subsidizing xAI until it finds product market fit.
That's one way to look at it. But let's consider what other automakers are doing. GM has partnered with Microsoft to use Azure and potentially OpenAI tech. Ford is working with Google Cloud. Volkswagen has a partnership with Microsoft. Mercedes-Benz is working with NVIDIA. Every major automaker recognizes that AI is crucial to their future, but most are partnering rather than investing directly.
Which makes Tesla's potential approach even more unusual. They're not just partnering, they're potentially taking an equity stake.
And that raises fascinating questions about data sharing and intellectual property. If Tesla owns a significant stake in xAI, could they share their massive driving data? Tesla has collected data from over 5 billion miles of autopilot driving. That's an incredibly valuable asset for training AI models. Could xAI use that data to build specialized models that give Tesla a competitive advantage?
But wouldn't that raise privacy concerns? Tesla customers agreed to share their driving data with Tesla, not with Musk's other companies.
Absolutely. And this is where the governance issues become really thorny. Tesla's board would need to ensure that any investment genuinely benefits Tesla shareholders, not just Musk's broader ambitions. They'd need clear agreements about data usage, IP ownership, and technology transfer.
What about the technical infrastructure angle? Could there be synergies there?
Now that's a fascinating point. Tesla has been building massive compute clusters for training full self-driving. Their Dojo supercomputer is specifically designed for video training, but the infrastructure, the cooling, the networking, the power systems, could potentially be shared. xAI has been rapidly building its own compute infrastructure, including a cluster with 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. That's serious hardware.
So there could be economies of scale in infrastructure investment.
Potentially, but stick around. In our final segment, we'll break down what this means for Tesla shareholders, what warning signs to watch for, and how this could reshape the competitive landscape in both automotive and AI. So let's talk about what this potential investment actually means for different stakeholders and what to watch for going forward.
Starting with Tesla shareholders. If I own Tesla stock, what should I be concerned about?
First and foremost, governance. Tesla's board has a fiduciary duty to shareholders, not to Musk's broader ambitions. They need to demonstrate that this investment specifically benefits Tesla's business. Look for detailed disclosures about deal terms, board independence in the decision-making process, and clear strategic rationale.
And what would constitute a good strategic rationale?
Tesla would need to show concrete synergies. For example, if xAI's technology could accelerate full self-driving development by even 6 months, that could be worth billions in first-mover advantage. Or if Grok could become the AI assistant in every Tesla, creating a differentiated user experience that drives sales. They'd need to show that investing $2 billion in xAI generates more value than spending that money on their own R&D or returning it to shareholders.
But how do you measure that? It seems pretty speculative.
You're right, and that's why the market reaction will be crucial to watch. If this investment is announced, look at Tesla's stock price, analyst reports, and especially any shareholder lawsuits. Delaware courts, where Tesla is incorporated, take conflicts of interest very seriously. We saw this with the litigation over Musk's pay package.
What about from a technology strategy perspective? What should we be watching for?
Several things. First, integration announcements. If Tesla starts talking about natural language interfaces in their vehicles or LLM-powered features in full self-driving, that would validate the strategic rationale. Second, talent movement. If we see AI researchers moving between Tesla and xAI, that suggests real collaboration. Third, infrastructure sharing. Joint announcements about compute clusters or training facilities would indicate genuine synergies.
And what about the competitive landscape? How does this change things?
This could accelerate the convergence of automotive and AI industries. If Tesla successfully integrates advanced AI throughout their vehicles, it forces every other automaker to respond. We could see more direct investments rather than just partnerships. GM might need to deepen their Microsoft relationship. Ford might need to invest directly in AI startups. The stakes get higher.
But doesn't this also risk distracting Tesla from their core business? They're still trying to scale Model 3 and Y production, launch Cybertruck successfully, and actually deliver on full self-driving promises.
That's the key risk. Tesla has a history of bold bets that sometimes pay off spectacularly, like their supercharger network or their decision to build their own batteries. But they also have a history of overpromising and under-delivering on timelines. Adding another major strategic initiative could strain their execution capabilities.
So what's your take? Good move or bad move for Tesla?
It depends entirely on execution and terms. If Tesla gets significant ownership in xAI at a reasonable valuation, maintains proper governance, and achieves real technical synergies, it could be brilliant. They'd own a piece of what could become a major AI player while accelerating their own AI capabilities. But if this is just Musk using Tesla's balance sheet to fund his rivalry with OpenAI, with unclear benefits to Tesla's core business, then shareholders have every right to be concerned.
What about the broader implications for AI development? Does this concentration of resources in a few big players worry you?
It's definitely something to watch. The AI industry is already seeing a massive concentration of resources, compute, data, and talent flowing to a handful of companies. If major corporations start using their balance sheet to fund AI development, it could accelerate this concentration. On the other hand, it could also provide an alternative to venture capital funding and create new centers of AI development.
Any final thoughts for our listeners who are trying to make sense of this?
Look, the intersection of AI and traditional industries is going to create a lot of these messy situations. Companies with different DNA trying to work together, governance challenges, questions about data and IP ownership. The key is to stay focused on fundamental business logic. Does this create value for customers? Does it generate returns for shareholders? And is it being done with proper oversight? Those questions matter whether we're talking about Tesla and xAI or any other AI partnership.
And honestly, despite all the challenges, it's fascinating to watch this play out in real time. We're seeing the future of transportation and AI being shaped by these decisions.
Absolutely. And whether this particular deal happens or not, it's clear that the lines between automotive companies, tech companies, and AI companies are blurring. That transformation is going to create enormous opportunities and challenges. The companies that navigate it successfully will define the next decade of technology. Before we wrap up, let's catch up on this week's infrastructure news. There's a fascinating new development in the open source world. The Sovereign Tech Fund just announced they're investing in the Scala programming language. This is pretty significant for the ecosystem.
The Sovereign Tech Fund. That's the German government initiative, right? What's driving their interest in Scala specifically?
According to the announcement on Scala.org, they're focusing on improving security and maintainability. Scala powers a lot of critical infrastructure, especially in data processing and financial systems. So this investment could really strengthen the entire ecosystem.
Makes sense. Government backing for crucial open source projects is becoming more common. Speaking of building things from scratch, there's an incredible story on Reddit's local llama community.
Oh, this is the one about someone building their own 80 million parameter LLM?
Exactly. They called it Mini Llama and used the same architecture as Llama 3. What's really impressive is they provided complete documentation of the entire process. It's like a masterclass in transformer implementation.
That's the kind of educational content the AI community needs. Building from scratch really helps you understand what's happening under the hood. Meanwhile, Google's making some big moves with Chrome.
Right. TechCrunch reports they're integrating Gemini AI directly into Chrome with a sidebar assistant and something they're calling agentic features for autonomous tasks.
Autonomous shopping assistants? That sounds like Google's trying to catch up with all these AI-first browsers that have been popping up.
It's interesting timing. They're leveraging their existing AI infrastructure to compete rather than building something entirely new. Though speaking of AI partnerships, there's a rather concerning development.
The BMJ article about Anthropic and Palantir is definitely raising eyebrows. Apparently, ICE is using Palantir's Elite Analytics app with health data from HHS to identify undocumented immigrants.
Wait, health data? That's a massive privacy concern. How is Anthropic involved in this?
The article indicates they're partnered with Palantir, though the specific role isn't entirely clear. But using health data for immigration enforcement, that's opening up a whole ethical can of worms about data privacy and AI governance.
Definitely something the AI community needs to watch closely. That wraps up this week's news.
That's our show for today.
If you found this valuable, please subscribe and share with a friend who'd appreciate it.
Drop us a comment with your thoughts on today's topic.
Links to everything we discussed are in the show notes.
Until next time.